The images of the terrible reality of the LA wildfires have now been haunting us for more than a week. Experts say climate change is contributing to these devastating fires and the difficulty in putting them out. So this has spurred more worry and dread about our changing climate. It's a feeling that's called eco-anxiety.
So what exactly is this and how do we manage it? Here to discuss it is our relationship guru, Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal. So good morning, Kirsten, how are you?
Good morning, I'm doing well, thanks.
So what is eco-anxiety?
So eco-anxiety, also sometimes this is called climate anxiety, and it describes the psychological distress that we feel as we contemplate these really extreme weather events that are going on, whether it's floods in Florida, whether it's floods and hurricanes in North Carolina, and then especially right now, the wildfires in LA. It's the feelings that we come up with eco-anxiety can include fear, rage, a sense of dread, a sense of helplessness, and all these emerge as responses to our growing awareness of what's going on with our climate and the climate crisis.
And Dr. Lind Seal, this is something to note. These are not clinical diagnoses.
Correct. Yes, these are just descriptions of what more and more people are starting to feel. And interestingly, about 5 years ago, you would not have really come across these, either of these descriptions, eco-anxiety or climate anxiety, but now it's becoming more and more something that's in the zeitgeist, sort of, in the world around us because of the changing climate and because of the ongoing sort of multiplication of these extreme weather events.
Yeah, so how do we manage it?
Yeah, so there's some recent research that looked at a bunch of different interventions for how to manage this, because as one person, no matter how much you compost and recycle and don't fly and do all the things, one person's not going to necessarily affect climate change. But here are some things you can do. So first of all, validating is really important. If you are around someone who is feeling this distress or sort of talking about this distress, validating their feelings as legitimate is really important. The next one is a support group. And interestingly, there's some really good support groups. There are three that I found in the Twin Cities. One is actually here, then some via Zoom. But if you Google climate anxiety support group or eco-anxiety support group, you will find some really good options for groups. I think we'll have some links later on. The sense of community can really support people. Feeling like it with like-minded people who are also trying to figure out how to manage this can be very, very, very protective. We know that social support is so protective anyway in so many ways. The next thing, which may seem counterintuitive, is actually to go outside. If we spend time in nature, it will calm us because it literally has that effect on our body and on our nervous systems. And it will also remind us that there are some places that are still really lovely. Even if it's 5 below, it's still quite lovely, right? External methods. So then the last two buckets are kind of external methods and internal methods. So an external method would be activism. Probably with some of these support groups, you might find people who, join groups to work on different things around climate, raising awareness, all kinds of things. Having something to do or making phone calls to your elected representatives, having something to actually do can be very, very helpful. And then the last bucket is what we call internal methods, meaning things like therapy, controlling your news consumption, mindfulness, and honestly, disaster preparation. If you live in a place where it might be prone to floods, and even if not, getting a little prepared for the disaster can be also a protective way of kind of supporting your own mental health. And then getting into your body, which we talk about different sort of general interventions for sort of grounding ourselves. There's a great one where you look 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from your 5 senses. This is a general one, but this also works really well. And doing something really physical like jogging, exercising, even jumping up and down, but standing, feeling your feet firmly on the floor. All of these are physical practices that help us ground, because anxiety will pull us up out of our bodies. And if we can ground ourselves physically, that is something that can really, really help us.
And we're really wondering, we here in Minnesota are not even close to the California wildfires, but we're seeing them on TV. Can these anxieties occur even if you're not even near that natural disaster?
Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, we know that seeing something on TV like that, I mean, I have a brother who's in LA right now. He and his kids are fine, but he's sort of surrounded by wildfires and trying to manage it. So, of course, I'm on the phone with him multiple times a day. But even if you don't have anybody, any family, any friends in Los Angeles, looking at these pictures, journalists do a great job of bringing this, sort of helping people understand the news. And it can also be traumatizing to watch and to look, because what happens is we imagine what would it be like for us. And so understanding that there's sort of a balance we need, we need to know what's going on, what is the news, and also we need to say, oh, it's time for me to take a break. So something to really important to pay attention to. And it's a hard balance to find.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you so much. Great insight on really a complex issue. Thanks, Kirsten.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.